seen now, I've mocked up the majority of this X-pipe and kind of run the plumbing to where the backside's going to be going. And you can sort of start to see the formulation in my head of what I've got pictured here. What I'm doing now is I'm removing this section because the intent is for this to all be one piece and very serviceable, you know, user-friendly. I'm really concerned about, over the process, having things pull in different directions as I'm welding. So similar to the way that I mentioned before, I do the manifolds, turbo manifolds, exhaust manifolds. Those have a lot of different pieces that are winding together, and if you don't weld them in a certain process, then it's going to pull and twist and be warped in the end. So we definitely don't want that, because I've been very, very, you know, I guess the right word is anal when it comes to making sure that things are very balanced and things are very even on this car, because being that it's a Ferrari and also adding to the pressure that it's the first Ferrari I've done, I need to make sure that I'm doing everything justice. So it's a very long time process in order to get this all pieced together properly and then welded without having it pull. So I'm going to do the left side, driver's side at this point, as far as getting the X-pipe all welded up. And then once that's all together and I know it's true in its shape, then I'll go ahead and move on to finish welding the bottom transition along with cutting the hole, because I want to make sure that those all both line up after I weld this X-pipe. Once I piece those together and tack them up, I can then know that they're going to be very true with respect to their shape. All I'll have to do is do one weld to connect here and then the other one there for this side. Then I can move over to this side and start mucking that one up. Then once all of that is complete, I can start working on the extra gusseting that I want to incorporate into this design to help reinforce its strength, and also do the exhaust mounts, which will be coming off of the back of the vehicle here. So that's where I'm at this point. Just want to keep you guys informed along the way so that you can understand what I'm doing as I'm doing it and see it all come together. I hope y'all are enjoying this video as much as I'm enjoying building this exhaust and having the pleasure of working on this beautiful machine. If you like this video, be sure to hit like, and if you're new to the channel, appreciate you guys subscribing and hitting notifications so that you can see more projects like this when they're coming through the door. You really never know what I'm going to be working on next. I can tell you I've got some new projects coming in soon, and they're nothing like anything I've ever done before. So be sure to stay with us and tune in for those. But in the meantime, we'll keep going on this Ferrari exhaust, and really looking forward to seeing how it comes out. As you can see now, we're at the point now where I've welded up all of pretty much the driver's side. And as you can see, I've refinished it, taken off all the color. you know, I put a lot of thought into the design as well as the look and finish of each of the builds that I do. And given the fact that this is a Ferrari and the way that things are supposed to be on a Ferrari versus what, you know, I'm typically used to building, I decided that I wanted to change the finish on it to something that's really, really clean. You know, the stuff that you would see in F1 and the things that you would see on a Ferrari is usually not going to have a lot of the color in the welds that you're used to seeing on the kind of builds that we normally do here. So I talked it over with the owner, and he agreed that my opinion or my impression is probably right, and that it would be best to go ahead and do that. Another reason for that is the fact that, you know, the color is really oxidation, and out here in the Midwest you do get a lot of rust, and even though this car is well taken care of, there's a lot of humidity which contributes to that over time, regardless of whether it's an indoor car. So the oxidation on the welds and the colors from it are the first things that are gonna deteriorate over time, and for a longevity reason this will also help sustain it. So that's where we're at this point. Now that I've welded this up, the next thing for me to do is mock it up inside of here. And as you can see, now that the passenger side or the driver's side is pretty much all welded up, as far as the X-pipe goes, the next thing that I need to do, let me grab a light here so that I can see a little bit better, is we need to go ahead and remove this driver's side outlet pipe off of the straight pipe here and finish welding the upward connection, as well as opening up the hole now that we know that things are going to line up for us. So moving on to the next step, we'll go ahead and finish welding that up and cut that hole so that we know before we do our final weld on that side, everything is going to line up exactly how we intend it to. Alright you guys, so here it is. It's all one piece now. As you can tell, it is a lot of plumbing. But that's what it takes for these Ferraris to be X-piped like this. And it's quite beautiful, but it is quite difficult to make sure everything's balanced. At this point, I still need to weld this joint, this joint, this joint, and this joint, along with the bottom connection over here. I also do have to weld this joint as well. In order to get everything to fit properly, I had to piece a little bit more together on this side than I was hoping for before I get it all in one piece, but it's just the way that it had to work out in order for it to be balanced all the way across the board. So I think what I'm going to do at this point now is try and do a little bit of welding on it, on car, at least on the areas that I can reach. I'll throw on a back purge and let it purge for a little bit because I don't want anything to move around on me, like I've said multiple times in this video. And I think if I keep it all hard mounted on the car and I do a little bit more welding before I pull it off the car and finish welding it, that it'll stay more true to its shape. So I'm going to grab Billy once I'm ready to do that, but in the meantime I'm going to go ahead and hook up the purge and try and do as much welding on car as I can.